Alright guys, here we are in Hayward, California, and we're here to see Andre Ward's trainer, Virgil Hunter. Let's go find out a little bit about the man, Andre's future plans, and we probably might see Kareem Mayfield in there, so we'll talk to him as well. Let's go do it.
Hello?
I think it's pretty easy to tell that this place here belongs to either a boxer or a boxing trainer. All the classics on the wall. Promised, here we are in Hayward, California. People fighting, dogs fighting. Here we are in Hayward, California with Virgil Hunter. Everybody knows who he is, so let's just get straight to it. All right, question one is, Super 6 was a very impressive collection of fighters all together. And I imagine winning it was a dream come true for both you and Andre. Do you think that winning the tourney will always be kind of the icing on the cake no matter where he goes from now on? Since it kind of in a way propelled his career in boxing.
Yes, the tournament was, a pinnacle in his career, of course. It was a major turning point, particularly how we entered the tournament as, not the favorites to win. I think out of 6 participants, I think we were number 5 and number 6, and given a chance to win the tournament. So that in itself, gave us a feeling of completion to knowing that when we started, we knew we belonged, and then when it ended, we proved we belonged. So it'll have a special place for us, that's for sure.
I still have a glove signed by you, and it says, to me, keep rooting for Kessler. Because after the fight, you asked me, well, what'd you think of the fight? And I said, well, I expected Kessler to win, so you signed the glove for me. Things have changed now. Over the years, what have you yourself learned from Andre and from the sport? I mean, you guys have gone pretty far, still some more to go, but what have you learned yourself over the years?
Well, I've learned one thing going into the professional ranks. It takes patience and perseverance, so that stays with me first and foremost. And then you realize after a while also that it's no longer fun for the fighter, it's a business now. So you have to play 2 roles now. You have to provide the fun in the midst of a business sport. I learned that I love it. I always loved it, but I learned that I love it even more because of the obstacles that are in the way and all the politics that are prevalent in the sport. I'm willing to continue to work with young men, which I really enjoy doing, and deal with the other negative aspects of the sport. So far, that's what I've learned about myself as a coach, what I'm willing to do, and recognizing all the things that obstacles that are in the way of young men that are fighting.
All right. Where would you like to take Andre next? Which fight, which weight class?
Well, I don't have a particular opponent in mind. We are striving to be, a little bit more busy. Of course, I think that would have happened if he hadn't have broken his hand. Right now, I don't think the opponent matters in the sense of we just have to have this particular guy. I would like to see him just a little bit more active right now, and I think that that's something that very possible now.
Well, I assume there were talks before, but I assume now that Chavez Jr. is out of the picture. What about fighting somebody like Martinez?
Well, there has been talk of Martinez, and I think it's quite obvious that we're not going to go to 160, and he's not going to come to 168. So I don't see in the immediate future how that fight is going to take place. It makes more sense for Chavez to do it, but I don't know what they're going to be doing with him. In light of all the things that are going on with him right now, I don't know what's going to be going on with him. But I don't think the Martinez fight is near to be made at all because of the weight discrepancy.
At the post-fight press conference, somebody mentioned, you've probably heard that Calzaghe made a couple of statements before regarding Andre Ward. Just hypothetically, if they ever met in the ring, how would you see that fight go?
Well, you got to look at it like this. Andre Ward, from his 19th to his 26th fight, fought Mikhail Kessler. His 19th fight, and he ended up with Chad Dawson on his 26th fight. If you look at Joe's record from his 19th to his 26th fight, I challenge you to recognize a name except for old faded. And I don't even want to say old. But he was definitely on the downside of his career. Because I have a lot of respect for him as a champion and as a man and an entertainer, Chris Eubank. So I think if you're going to start comparing, you got to start there. They seem to.
Plus, it's a little easier for somebody who has been retired for so long make all these statements.
Well, yeah, it's easy for him and it's easy for his fans to hypothetically say what he would have done, but you don't have anything to base it on. You don't have a fighter or a fight. Certainly, you can't base it on Jeff Lacy. With all due respect to Jeff Lacy, I thought that was a fight that he shouldn't have took at the time, and. He had 19 fights, I believe, at the time, 18 fights. And that's where they're really giving him his turning point. Now, in the Kessler fight, that was a give and take fight until he pulled away. In the later rounds, he made it quite obvious that he won the fight. Let Kessler tell it he had a back injury and things, and all these things were going on. So I give him credit there, but I think at the time he fought Kessler, I think he had 42 fights, or 41 fights, if I'm not mistaken. 40 for sure.
Over 40.
So we fought Kessler and dominated him from 1 to 11 with 19 fights. So all you have to do is look at the comparison.
Do the math.
Do the math. That's all you have to do is do the math. We fought him with 19 fights. He fought Kessler, I think, 8, 9, 10 years into his career. And we fought him much earlier. So we were a puppy when we fought him and dominated. He wasn't even in the fight. So if you're going to compare, you have to take those factors and bring them to the table simply because he's not fighting anymore. That's what you have to bring to the table, the facts. And the facts say that we chew Joe Calzaghe up, and I stand by that.
And then this is just kind of two questions in one. A, did you expect Ward to dominate Dawson the way he did? And B, how important is it to you as a trainer to have your fighter win via a knockout? How important is a knockout? Or some trainers just say a win is a win, and some say you gotta show the fans what they want and go for a knockout every time. What do you think?
Well, we had a plan in Andre's career the whole time. And one thing, when you have a plan, you definitely have to stick to that plan regardless of the critics and regardless of what might be said. Our plan was to dominate an opponent, and then we would make certain adjustments and begin to look for the knockout. I always say this: you're not really a knockout artist until you knock out the best. Everybody knocks. At one time, we were 16-0 with 11 knockouts, and they were saying that he was a puncher. But the fact of the matter is, he was in the B leagues, fighting B league fighters, and that's where everybody gets the majority of their knockouts. At the same time, they were questioning his power. Nobody else was knocking anybody out unless it was a mismatch on paper, you know. But he had a lot of knockouts in amateurs. I always knew that he could punch with the best, so it never bothered us. And his opponents up at that time, when they got in the ring, they found out that also. You don't see anybody that's tried to walk through Andre Ward's punches to try to get to him. They'll mention it before the fight, but when the fight takes place, you haven't seen one person try to walk through his shots to get to him because they find out that he can hurt him. And you haven't heard one person ask for a rematch either.
No, I haven't.
See,
You're right.
When he beats you, that fighter knows it's not a coach, it's not a certain amount of training, nutrition, anything that could cause him to deal with that particular situation. So they're not only beat physically, they're beat mentally. So I think that is more, you know, in terms of a knockout versus a mind beating. I'll take the mind beating. But we've made the adjustments now to start stopping the opponents, and you're going to find out that he doesn't have a problem knocking out a man.
All right. Now to the question that everybody wants to hear an answer to. Are you training Amir Khan?
I can't even comment on that because it's all rumors right now, you know.
Has he contacted you in any way, or?
Well, he's contacted a lot of people. And he hasn't, has anybody heard of Amir Khan make anything official? He hasn't made anything official. Until he makes something official, it's only rumors, it's only speculation. So you can't take it any further than that.
All right, well, let me ask you this. I don't know how often you see them fight, or based on what you know and what you have seen, do you as a trainer see a lot of things that need to be improved? You see a lot of them. I mean, how is he as a fighter, your opinion?
I think Amir Khan has the potential to be a great fighter. I think he's a world-class fighter right now. And, you know, from a trainer's eye, you always see some things that you can improve on. And any fighter, if he's open to be coached, and the coach really has a sense of what he needs to do to improve on, they can improve on it. So right now, he's a world-class fighter. I think he has the potential to come back to the top and stay on top for quite a while. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Do you think that it was a little premature of him to let Freddie Roach go after losing one fight?
Well, only he knows that. I can't say that. I don't know why. I've never even spoken to him.
I mean, is it generally, you know, why would somebody let go of a trainer after one loss and so many wins?
Well, it happens in boxing all the time. Chad Dawson's had several trainers, or Oscar had several trainers. I think he let go of Alcazar after his first loss with Trinidad or well, with Mosley or whatever. It happens all the time in boxing, you know, particularly the fighters trying to find his way. There's nothing unusual. And, you know, and trainers walk away from boxers. So it's just a given in boxing that this happens. So I don't find it unusual. And I think from hearing his reasons why he did it, that's the way he felt about it. So only he knows why he needs a change.
Just a few more minutes, sir. Tell us a little bit about working with Kareem Mayfield. How strong is the kid? Just a little bit about him.
You know, Kareem has a tremendous upside. He has something that you can't train for. He has a style that you just can't prepare for. And in addition to that style, he has tremendous punching power. And that ingredient alone gives him an opportunity to set the bar real high and actually reach the heights that he sets the bar at. So really right now at this stage in his career, it's up to him where he wants to go and how he wants to do it. But I'll just say this much. If Kareem Mayfield is in tip-top physical condition, he can box, he can fight anybody in the world, from the champion on down to number 10, and he's going to be legitimately in that fight with a great chance to win.
How, as a trainer, how much time do you spend reviewing tapes and learning the opposition? How important is it?
It depends who we're fighting, and it depends on what type of strategy that'll be used. I'm not going to sit in front of TV and watch hours and hours of tape, because we have to keep in mind that this guy is fighting a different opponent, and his approach to your guy and your guy's approach to him is going to be totally different. So what I usually do is find one thing that I feel can be exploited from his defensive end, and then I find one thing that we can exploit from our offensive end. And I kind of stay right in that zone right there. And it's important to be able to call a fight, to see a fight unfold, and to be able to guide your charge through that fight as that fight is unfolding, to make sure that you give him the proper instructions at the right time. So I think being able to call a fight is much more important than actually spending a lot of time studying the opponent. I think in some ways it's an ego mechanism for coaches, because if you win, you know, you look great to the media. You know, you look like you're this great strategic guy, and that you can study tape and break an opponent down and implement a plan for your charge to defeat this particular opponent. But what's funny about it, when they lose, you never hear the media go back to this person. Well, I thought you looked at hours of tape. Just for maybe Coach Scully, for instance, he said many a time leading up to this fight that he saw something, that he saw different things, he saw weaknesses, and whatever they saw, they weren't impressed. So somewhere along the line, he missed something, and the things that he missed is what he couldn't see and didn't see. You know, the tape only reveals what you can see. You have to be able to anticipate what you can't see.
What are your thoughts on Ricky Hatton's comeback?
Well, he's a champion, and he deserves to come back and redeem himself. I think it's great for boxing. I mean, man, look at the fact that I think it was 18,000 tickets.
In 48 hours.
48 hours. I mean, that's that's phenomenal. You know, so it still goes to say that, you know, the fans have a place in their heart for Ricky Hatton. So if he means that much to boxing in that region, it means that much to his fans, just that alone is, you know, merit and justification to come back.
Well, Ricky Hatton does mean a lot to his fans, but does Ricky Hatton mean a lot to Ricky Hatton? I mean, you know, he's gone through a lot of problems during his time off, with a whole lot of things, too many to mention. Do you think that he's, you know, a fighter like him, he's mentally and physically going to be 100% back in the game?
Hard to tell. You know, you see George Foreman coming back at a later age than that. You see Sugar Ray Leonard, who had similar problems, come back and be successful. So it's really hard to tell. I think you can only tell once he gets going and once he's actually in a fight. I mean, the body is remarkable. if you give it a chance, it could pretty much kick out any abuse that you've done, particularly in your 30s, that you've done. And if you give it a chance to come back, it'll respond. So I think Ricky Hatton should come back until the game tells him that he should go back into retirement.
Should go back and retire. Quick questions. Pacquiao versus Marquez. Your thoughts? Who wins?
Well, both guys seem to be determined this time. So I have to chalk it up, since the fights have been so close and they could have gone either way. I have to chalk it down as a pick'em fight again.
Who'd you have in the last fight? At the end of the fight, who'd you think actually won the
I
fight?
thought Marquez won the last fight by a split decision.
Martinez versus Chavez Jr. rematch. Who wins?
I think that Martinez pretty much has his way the same way again. I mean, it's a matter of styles and speed. I could see, they say, well, Chavez will do better, but I mean, they're neglecting the fact that Martinez fought him once now also. So, I mean, they're acting like he's going to be the same guy. Well, he's been in the ring with you, so the adjustments. I think Martinez has the edge in the rematch for the simple reason that he did get knocked down, and I don't see him making that mistake again, you know, kind of getting careless and just, you know, floating through. So, and then the fact that he broke his left hand, hurt his left hand in the 4th round, that has to play into the equation. And I think he injured his knee. I don't know what round that was. He injured his knee, but I give the edge to Martinez. I don't think Chavez can get any better. You can't get any better until you fight better people. So until he actually fights, that fight there showed where he truly was in this business. You know, I mean, it wasn't given up and down, given take. He was dominating. So I don't see anything different in the rematch.
2 more questions and I'll let you go. Why do you think Cotto picked Trout? I mean, it's a step. Not to say anything bad about you know, Austin Trout, but it seems like it's a step back, step down for Cotto. I mean, even I know I've heard Team Pacquiao offered him a fight. Maybe it was less money or whatever it was. Why would he pick Trout? Do you think it's the right decision?
Well, out of Cotto's own mouth, I mean, he felt that if Pacquiao really wanted to fight him and challenge him, that they would fight him at his weight. He went through that other one once before, and he doesn't want to go through it again. I mean, Mikhail Cotto's made a lot of money in boxing, so it's great to be at that status and at that level where you can say, look, unless the conditions are favorable for me also, I don't have to take the fight, you know. Now, but by no means would I underestimate Austin Trout. I've been knowing Austin Trout since he was an amateur. He's always been at the top of the food chain in his weight class, and I think he has a great chance of upsetting Miguel Cotto. So, of course, some people gonna say, well, if you lost, you should have at least had $13 million. Because I don't know what he's getting for this fight, but you know, that's the great thing. He has to make the right calls for his career, and you know, money's not everything. Money's not everything. I think that he would take the Pacquiao fight if it was even across the table and not putting him at a disadvantage.
What advice could you give to those young fighters trying to make it in the game, trying to be successful?
First and foremost, you have to be dedicated to the sport, and you have to be willing to take the good with the bad, the ups with the downs. You have to make sure you're with the right people, the right team, and that you educate yourself about this sport, because you know, everywhere you can turn into a roadblock of disappointment, and it can affect you know, your performance in the ring or even your preparation to fight. I think first and foremost, who you surround yourself with is most important. And then the right person, that trainer that you fit in with, that is going to develop you where you can see the development, where you know you're being developed. And you have a rapport with gentleman who's laying out the battle plans for you, that you have confidence in that guy that's, you know, that's sending you to war. So I think that's very important for a young fighter, and you know, to be realistic about, you know, where you're at various stages in your career. And I think if they can keep all that in perspective, that, you know, things should go right and give them an opportunity to shine, you know, to be a champion, whatever it goes.
Thank you very much, Virgil Hunter. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome.